33. You got to block him. You got to take him down the ground. You got to hit him on every play, and you can't let him terrorize your quarterback. And they had a bad plan with bad execution right from the get-go. I mean, I realized it was a 10th different offensive line combination that they started yesterday in Philadelphia, the most in the National Football League. I realized that Doug Peterson said after the game we had breakdowns across the board, and it wouldn't matter who's out there, Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts. Well, why did you have those kinds of breakdowns? I mean, you knew Jamal Adams was coming to Philadelphia. You knew DK Metcalf was coming to Philadelphia, and you allowed him to have a career day, a career game with 300. Now he's got 377 yards against the Eagles. You know that? He has more yards catching the football against the Eagles than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has in his entire NFL career, 214. And they passed on DK Metcalf to take J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So that game yesterday signified and illustrated so many problems that this team has, from personnel decisions, from execution decisions, from bad plan decisions, all the way across the board. I can't even believe that Carson Wentz is standing up upright after that game the way he was terrorizing that football game last night.
Yeah, there is a lot of disconnect with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you mentioned DK Metcalf and a bad plan to guard a guy like that. There was certainly a mismatch just in size advantage alone with Darius Slay. And you would think that a guy like Jim Schwartz, who's been around this league for a very long time, he would know better. But that's not the case. Let me ask you this, though, Sal. Is there any disconnect in the organization when it comes to Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts, and if anybody's pushing for Jalen Hurts to get on the field?
I don't believe so. I know there were reports out there to that there is somebody in the front office, maybe even the owner, saying to Doug Peterson that you got to play Jalen Hurts. Now, I have covered Jeffrey Lurie every single day since he owned the team, known him since he bought the team from Norman Brayman in 1994. He has never meddled, never once, in personnel decisions and decisions on who to play. That's just not his style. He's never done it. And two, it just doesn't make any practical sense. Think about it. Carson Wentz, he counts $59 million against the cap in 2021 when the cap is supposed to shrink. Okay? So why would you destroy your best possible asset by forcing the coach to play the rookie when you know that next year he's on the team no matter what? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, if you're saying to me that Jeffrey Lurie called up Doug Peterson and said, listen, sit Carson Wentz for a game, and you and I have talked about this very thing on this very show. Sit him for a game. Let him hit the reset button like Donovan McNabb did in 2008 when Andy Reid benched him. Then that's a different story. But it's getting kind of late for that, Key. In my opinion, it should have happened last night in South Philly.
So, Sal, with that being said, when does this start to become more of an indictment on Doug Peterson for not doing something like that, not benching Carson Wentz and allowing Jalen Hurts to play a game to see if there's actually something there?
Jay, Will, I'll tell you this. It's already passed. I mean, I think people have questioned the plan all the way along. First of all, you draft him in the second round, and you tell us there's a plan to use him, even without preseason and a truncated training camp, that you're going to use him. You're going to put him on the field a la Taysom Hill. Well, that didn't happen. And you keep Carson Wentz on the field when you put him on the field. So everybody knows that you're going to run the football when you have Carson Wentz on the field. You know you're going to run a zone read run play. So they're loading up the box on Jalen Hurts, and they're getting no yardage out of it. So it's a bad plan. And Jalen Hurts comes in the game last night for 3 snaps and then comes off the field after all of the chatter pregame about them increasing the practice snaps with the first team with Jalen Hurts. It was a bunch of sound of fury signifying nothing. And I'll tell you this, it's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for the football team because they know Carson Wentz is getting terrorized. Okay. So, and they know Jalen Hurts can move. because they've seen it. We've all seen it. Seen it in college. They see it on the practice field. So where are the reverses? Where are the wide receiver option passes? Where are the screen where is any kind of deception where you don't have the defense just literally, as they like to say, pinning their ears back and just terrorizing number 11?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin is presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Sal, where are these guys, right? You said, where are the receivers? Where are the option passes? Where's the offensive line? Does this, before I even move into Doug Peterson, where's Howie Roseman been the last 4 drafts for the Eagles? Yeah,
well, you heard our colleague Louis Riddick this week, a pretty tough indictment of the draft of the last couple of years, and all you had to do is look at DK Metcalf. I mean, listen, I'm not a scout, okay? I don't want to pretend to be a scout, but if I'm looking at DK Metcalf and I'm talking to that young man, I know he's a football player, okay? I know he's a football player. He's going to help my football team. I mean, come on now, right? Key? I mean, really, seriously.
The only thing I can think of, Sal, is he fell in the draft because of the medical history is the only thing I can think of, because remember he had a serious neck injury, so people were a little concerned about it. That's the only thing I can think of, because just walking into the room, I'm taking him number 1, just how he looked.
Yeah, just walking in the room, he says he just looks, feels like a football player, and he can help you just in his attitude, and he's got buzz when he walks into the room. And last night he played with a chip on his shoulder, as he liked to say, and when you compare him side by side with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, it's not even close.
Yeah,
it's just not even close. So I mean, that's to begin with, and then this year in the first round, you pass on Justin Jefferson and take Jalen Reagor, and you look at what Justin Jefferson is doing with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, no, that's tough. Let me ask you this before I let you get out of here, Sal. How high could Doug Peterson's seat be after this season?
Well, tell me what the number of wins is. So let's just say, and I'm not a fire the coach guy. I've never been in the business of doing that.
Yeah, five wins, 6 wins, no playoffs.
Oh, six wins. Well, 6 wins get you in the playoffs. I've broken it down. Right now, I'm telling you, 6 wins.
Okay,
wins
5.
The division. 5 wins. Doesn't make the playoffs. He probably survives. I don't think he survives 3 or 4. I don't. I just don't. I think it'll be too hot. I really do. I think it'll be too hot.
Even though, Sal,
this is the way it's happened, though, Keith.
The Super Bowl was just 3 years ago, and you know how this thing is. You've been in this league longer than me and Jay been alive combined. That coaches don't usually get put on a hot seat 3 years removed from winning a Super Bowl.
That's true, and plus he was only one of 4 coaches to make the playoffs 3 straight years. The others being Belichick with Brady, Sean Payton with Drew Brees, Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes II, Doug Peterson with the revolving door at quarterback. So, yes, he's done it. There's no question. But I'm telling you, the feel in the town is going to be tough for him to overcome 3 wins. It really is, because when you look at it, the problems up and down on the field and in the lineup and the execution and the plan has not been a good look for the head coach and the coaching staff.
Wow.
So, I mean, and listen, Lurie hung on to Andy Reid for 14 years when it had gone bad, and he held on to him for 3 or 4 years beyond when most people thought it was time to move on. So I'm not saying that he's going to be let go. I'm just saying, you asked me, is it going to get hot? I'm going to say to you, Key, it's going to get very, very, very hot.
Well, they'll be able to cook some cheesesteaks, that's for sure.
Steamy hot.
Indeed. Geno's, Pats, Tony Luke's, the whole dang, as Sal well knows. Go ahead, Sal.
No, they're happy in South Philly because they had 6 in the hook, man. Come on.
Those guys in the desert, they don't call them sharps for no reason, that's for sure.